Why can't my husband watch but yours can? I'm bi. My husband allows me to be with women. He doesn't want anything to do with the women I meet. He stays behind with the kids while I go off and have my fun. I'm on Tinder. I put on my bio exactly what I put above. I'll get matches from couples and they don't want their husbands to join sexually, but want them there for and quat, protection and quat, and it's a fantasy for them for the husband to watch. I'm bi. My husband allows me to be with women. He doesn't want anything to do with the women I meet. He stays behind with the kids while I go off and have my fun. I'm on Tinder. I put on my bio exactly what I put above. I'll get matches from couples and they don't want their husbands to join sexually, but want them there for and quat, protection and quat, and it's a fantasy for them for the husband to watch. Because they find it easier to find women looking for other women by stating upfront that and quat, the hubby just wants to watch and quat, in hopes that you'll agree as long as you're into the wife. The hope is that during the act, you'll not care anymore and fuck the hubby as well since you're bi. The reality is that the hubby is looking for a threesome and this is their strategy. You have a great rule in place, do not break it by any means. If their partner is allowed on scene and yours is not, then clearly the deal is off. As others have already said, I too believe they are unicorn hunting. This was what my ex did, except he advertised wanting another man to and quat, fulfill my threesome fantasies and quat. In reality, it was because he liked dick more than I did and he liked coercing me into screwing strangers on Craigslist. I have zero problems with bisexuality, as I myself am pansexual. It was the whole and quat, strangers off CL and quat, thing that I refused to participate in. Out of curiosity, has anyone ever taken you up on the offer for your husband to sit in their living room while you have sex with a woman while her husband watches? I'm just trying to imagine your husband chilling in a stranger's house for like 2 hours while you fuck a woman in the other room with a strange man in there watching. Is that something he would really do, or is it just a suggestion you make to see how far these weirdos on Tinder are going to go with their obvious deception? This is called unicorn hunting. These people are in it for themselves and are exercising couples privilege, which is unacceptable. You are the third and therefore the guest. You should always be treated with respect and hospitality, where your needs are discussed and, if reasonable and not a hard boundary, accommodated. Having your husband nearby is reasonable and should be accommodated. Those who refuse are selfish and untrustworthy. You will not be taken care of with people like this. I feel really ashamed when I see a girl posting on this subreddit and she has to add to her post edit, "Stop sending me private messages, it happens so many times, like guys, can't you just behave yourselves for God's sake?" People forget that this sub is not about sexy part of sex, but more about information, advice, etc. No matter what the post is, unless an op says that they are inviting people to DM them and making it clear they're being sexy, then don't do it. It's ironic how I know consent is talked about a lot on here and some people can't get it through their heads that there's a reason it's talked about. There are a lot of people here who just troll the sub to be a-holes. With 1.5 million people, if a poster gets 40 or 50, I'm not surprised. I feel this. I replied to a post and the op messaged me thanking me and asking more questions and I got nervous. I cannot imagine making a post and then being flooded with DMs just because of my gender. Clean it up, guys. It leads to that awful prejudice that is easier for women to get laid or whatever. Wrong, it's the exact opposite. You make the slightest suggestion that you think about sex like a normal person and get harassed by crazies. Those aren't viable options to find a partner. It's really dangerous sometimes. I think one of my biggest fears is accidentally crossing a guy from the wrong subreddit and get doxxed. Parents found out I have sex. My parents found out that their 19 almost 20-year-old daughter, has sex with her boyfriend of nearly a year. They are upset and my mom feels shocked and betrayed that I'd ever think that was okay, despite her never talking to me about sex and relationships past the age of 12, where I was too young to even remember the advice because I wasn't thinking about that stuff so young. Now me and my boyfriend aren't allowed to sleep in the same bed when he's over, as if that would stop us from having sex if we wanted to anyway. It's crazy to me that they don't understand that I'm a full adult who is perfectly capable and responsible for her own decisions. Nice. I respect their rules, but still, what the hell? Edit. I really didn't expect so many comments. Thanks everyone for the replies and advice, especially from parents. While some of you are saying things like fuck that stupid rule, move out, they're still my parents, and I still don't want to disrespect them when they support me in so many ways. Me and my BF can still sleep in the same bed at his house, and we can still hang out as much as normal, so it's not the end of the world. It will definitely be tough to get through 4 years of long distance without it though. And my parents will probably drive me away by enforcing a dumb rule like this, but hey, it's their own fault. Comments on this post are now locked. The conversation probably went far enough. Since she doesn't want you having sex in your bed, perhaps you could ask her where she prefers you have sex. So your parents let you sleep in the same bed when he stayed over? And they're surprised you're having sex? That's kinda contradicting, don't you think? So punishment is no more sharing a bed? I'm speechless. Last night I orgasmed while kissing a guy. I'm extremely embarrassed and can't get over it. So I recently met this really amazing guy and we've been hanging out a lot. We're similar in many ways, for example we're both dancers, and just get along so well. He's also kinda shy like me, so we totally get each other. The thing is, I'm insanely attracted to him. Just everything about him, body, face, voice, personality, everything, makes me almost sick in a good way. Since this is a throwaway, it'll be a bit TMI. I'm constantly wet down there when we hang out, to the point I have to change my underwear afterwards. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I get this tingling feeling in my lower stomach/vagina whenever he's around. It's a very nice sensation, but after a while it's so unbearable that I have to scratch the itch. I notice when he has boners and I can tell he feels awkward when it happens, so I'm low-key glad he can't tell when I'm horny. So far we haven't had any intimate contact, we're both just taking it slow and I guess we're too shy. Anyway, last night we started kissing and making out a bit. I could feel a minor orgasm building up, but I thought it's impossible to have an actual orgasm by just kissing someone. So I happily continued, and then I reached the point of no return. It was incredibly embarrassing because my breathing got weird and my legs were shaking a bit. I could not control my legs even though I tried to sit still. He asked me if I'm okay and pointed out that my body is shaking. I just felt so mortified and thought of an excuse to leave. He texted me afterwards and asked if I have any medical conditions he should know about. I told him that I was okay and just felt very nervous. I wanted to tell him what really happened because he obviously felt like it was his fault somehow, but I just couldn't frown. I'm worried that it will put him off or something. Maybe I'm kinda scared of rejection too. He wants to come over to my place tomorrow, but So is this normal at all? I found it difficult to orgasm in my previous relationship, so I don't understand how this happened. I always read about women not being able to orgasm easily, so right now I feel like a bit of a freak if I'm honest. So we talked about the incident. He thought I left early because I was upset and apologized. I explained to him that it wasn't his fault at all and that I actually left because I got a bit too excited when we kissed. He asked me what I meant and I honestly told him that I had an orgasm and didn't want to stick around. Mainly because I was mortified and didn't know how he'd react. Also, I was wearing a dress when it happened and I didn't want to ruin the couch, my legs were wet. Super embarrassing when you're not expecting it. At first he didn't believe me, he thought I was trying to boost his ego or make him feel better. When he did believe me he got up and went to the bathroom. I thought I freaked him out. He was in there for about 10 minutes and I have no idea what he did. I just heard him kick something lol. In hindsight I think he was pretty excited. When he came back he had the biggest smile on his face and admitted that he has a huge crush on me. Of course I'm crushing on him hard too. He literally pounced on me and it was pretty funny tbh. We had sex, well we tried to. Neither of us are virgins but we didn't last long. It was over before it really began but that's fine. We just cuddled afterwards. Hopefully we can work on that because I'd like to have sex for a bit longer. We talked about our kinks and preferences and I'm very excited because we're so compatible. I just realized I used the word excited a lot in this post. When he came back he had the biggest smile on his face and admitted that he has a huge crush on me. Of course I'm crushing on him hard too. He literally pounced on me and it was pretty funny tbh. We had sex, well we tried to. Neither of us are virgins but we didn't last long. It was over before it really began but that's fine. We just cuddled afterwards. Hopefully we can work on that because I'd like to have sex for a bit longer. We talked about our kinks and preferences and I'm very excited because we're so compatible. I just realized I used the word excited a lot in this post. Damn it, I just hate it when girls looks at notes have full-blown orgasms from uncontrollable horniness from making out with me. If I made a woman come from kissing her that shit would be in my LinkedIn profile. Skills: licensed teacher since 2008. Speaks conversational Spanish. Microsoft certified. I once made a girl orgasm just from kissing her. Participated in the Massachusetts Educators Collaborative Workshop 2011. Why would you keep from this poor man the knowledge of literally the coolest thing that's ever happened to him? He was making out with you, how does that lead to you feeling like he might reject you? That shit be crazy. He is only going to love hearing that he caused you to orgasm no matter how it happened. It's all good, don't be afraid, go with it and make this happen. He is into you, you are into him, make it happen, winking face. Be honest with him. It'll be a massive ego boost to be told you made a woman orgasm just by kissing her. Plus a woman can never be too wet. Anyone else being reminded how single they are during quarantine? My sex drive is like a 14-year-old boy. Only classes haven't started up for me yet, so being bored is an understatement really. I exercise, do puzzles, etc. trying to keep myself as occupied as I can, but I've definitely masturbated at least 15 times since home. Great orgasms, but God I wish I had someone during this lull, I'd be fucking him so much. I crave human touch so bad right now, it's so shitty. Crying face, crying face, crying face. Edit: wow, was not expecting to get this much attention from this post, but then again we're all in this together. Stay safe everyone, heart, it's very bad in my area, please don't take the whole social distancing thing etc. a joke. Do your part and protect others' lives. Girlfriend of over 2 years and I broke up 3 weeks ago and she moved out of the apartment all the way to Europe Sunday, so yeah, feeling pretty lonely. Not much different from the last 10 years. Holy shit, can I ever relate to this? Worst part is that I actually met a girl that I really clicked with right before all this started happening, which was just shit timing. We've been texting, but there's definitely things I'd rather be doing with her. To girls trying to reverse roles as the dominant one, don't punch your man. Had an interesting experience today. My FWB and I went a bit longer without seeing each other, and she was kind of upset about how I ignored her for a while. Work is really demanding right now. So today when I came over, she immediately had a face on that made me think we were going to have an argument. Instead we went straight into things. Now for context, I'm a very experienced dominant partner, not necessarily full-on BDSM but choking, spanking, pinning arms behind her back, a little slapping, hair pulling etc. I've cleared each action early on with her, and in the moment too I often double-check to see how rough she wants to go. In addition, I'm 6'2" and squat, 195 pounds and athletic. She's 5 feet 3 inches and squat, 108 pounds. So today when she got on top and started biting me, I knew I was in for a role reversal. However, soon I had been slapped in the face twice, something I've never had, and when I tried to playfully pin her arms behind her back, got punched square in the chest. We ended up finishing and I said to her and squat, "What was that?" and squat. Her response was nonchalant, and squat, "I was mad at you," and squat. As someone that has been doing this for a while, that was a pretty huge red flag. Pain inflicted during sex is for the purpose of pleasure, not revenge or anger. So to girls out there thinking your guy is hurting you in anger, 1, run away from that relationship, but also 2, don't retaliate, because if he isn't abusive it's probably just some good kinky fun. No punching without permission either. To the guys, just because she's smaller, cuter, or usually submissive doesn't mean she can just break out and use abusive behavior as a unquote response and quote to an argument, or to break the routine of you leading or delivering the rough stuff. And that's all, folks. Too many off-topic comments, too many personal attacks, way too many comments that stray into sexism and lack of respect for other people. I'm already having to ban several folks. Consider this a way to help a few of you think twice before joining them. This post is now locked. Yeah, huge red flag. Not something I would tolerate, and if she doesn't see that she crossed a thick red line, if she gives you some shit about and quat, "You're a big man, you can take it," and quat, or something, you just found yourself a person who's shit when their emotions are high and worth not seeing again. Dude. Keep away from her. No, just no. As someone who is heavily into BDSM and a lot of painful shit, I can tell you safe, sane and consensual are the basics of BDSM. An educated person in that field would never try that. I get so sick every time I hear a wannabe dominant with no idea of the basics tries this shit on an unassuming partner that did not ask for it. Why is coming too soon such a big deal for guys? It just happened with me and my boyfriend. We'd both had a drink or two and decided to have sex before bed. We got about 2 minutes in and he came, before I even knew what happened. I said it was okay and went to the bathroom, and when I came back he immediately went for a shower. When he came back he was upset and I asked him if it was about the sex. I didn't have a problem with it. I know it's not something easy to control for guys, and I can easily make myself come in a few minutes anyway. I made it clear I wasn't mad or upset or disappointed, but he's still dumpy about it. Can a guy explain to me what he's feeling? Society has made penis size and stamina a symbol of manliness. So in a large part, it's our ego that takes a blow regardless of if we know it's stupid or not. It's been subconsciously hammered into us. Second, it's been hammered into us that women want a guy who can jackhammer them for hours, and that any woman who says otherwise is just sparing our feelings. Third, a lot of guys don't understand how to actually please a woman without their dick. So once it goes soft, they feel like a failure. Fourth, it just means a quick end to feeling good, which is just a severe disappointment. Society has made penis size and stamina a symbol of manliness. So in a large part, it's our ego that takes a blow regardless of if we know it's stupid or not. It's been subconsciously hammered into us. Second, it's been hammered into us that women want a guy who can jackhammer them for hours, and that any woman who says otherwise is just sparing our feelings. Third, a lot of guys don't understand how to actually please a woman without their dick. So once it goes soft, they feel like a failure. Fourth, it just means a quick end to feeling good, which is just a severe disappointment. You're a very good girlfriend. Many years ago when I was younger and first with my girlfriend sexually, we took a shower together and the water was a little cold. Shrinkage. Well, this girl was divorced and said what I thought was brilliant and really set me at ease. Relax, I know they shrink when it gets cold. Come way too fast sometimes and don't get hard every time you want them to. You're my boyfriend, not a machine. If I wanted that, I'd date a dildo. Take that, I haven't seen others say yet. Finishing in 2 minutes is never that fun or satisfying. A long build-up can be more important because it feels great in itself. Sex isn't just about coming when that only lasts a few seconds. Most comments have been about him not getting you off, but longer sex is more of a fun journey or experience for both of you. Cowgirl style confused him. I got the male version of laying there like a dead fish. I have never met someone who was so confused, startled, and uncertain when I got on top of him to ride him lamau. I got on top and he just laid there with his arms at his sides. Didn't touch me, didn't make any noise. Just stared at me. I have only heard of women laying like a dead fish, but this must be how it feels. I thought he just wasn't interested in the sex, which was confusing since he was the one who initiated it, but I understand not being sexually compatible with someone. Only to find out later on that he has only ever done missionary, so he had no idea what to do. He has had 6 or 7 partners before me. Who only did missionary what? That poor guy. Edit. We absolutely talked about it afterwards, lol. Communication is key and I'm not shy talking about sex or my preferences. He had always wanted to explore sexually, but his partners only wanted missionary. So I talked him through and demonstrated some different positions, what felt good to me, what felt good for him, etc. Wait until he learns about doggy style. I think rather than cowgirl they should call that maneuver unquat, beating a dead horse unquat. I would hate that he didn't move his arms and touch me, but I have to admit that I would like if he didn't move other parts of his body. Sometimes he strokes up and ruins my rhythm. Lol. A long time ago in a far-off galaxy, my girlfriend, now wife, did that to me, and she, knowing it was my first time, grabbed my hands and showed me what she liked. Totally miss those days. So try directing him. So weird, cowgirl is so hot. But, in my opinion, doggy is where it's at. I don't care for casual sex anymore. I just had casual sex for the first time in years and I came to the same conclusion that I did years ago when I lost my virginity: it's overrated. It feels alright, but it's not worth all the legwork. Having sex with someone I'm not intimate with just feels empty and not fulfilling. I don't like someone having a piece of my vulnerability in exchange for what I see as hedonistic pleasure. Personally, I think it's an ego-driven pursuit and it's not for me. I honestly would rather not have sex for the rest of my life than to have casual sex again. I get it. I love sex but casual has never been for me. You don't need to be the cool guy/girl and do it if it's going against your nature. Your feelings are perfectly fine. My perspective is that sex and connections can happen simultaneously. My Tinder hookup was just that, a guy from Tinder who I hooked up with. Now he's my FWB and sometimes he just wants cuddles, and I want him to order takeout for us. Intimacy builds. We aren't robots. Some people must have a connection first before sex. Some people don't give a fuck about connections. Some people just let the die roll and are open to whatever the encounter can offer, sex or connections or both. Yeah, I haven't ever been able to enjoy one-night stands either. Nothing wrong with them, but myself, I need at least some kind of connection to the person I'm with. At the very least, I need to be friends.